Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Horse Races Now podcast, the live Black Friday edition, Kenny.
Teague shot down my fun music today. I like fun music. I'm going to come up with new songs every time we start this thing. I mean, we got to have something that fits the show, right?
Yeah, well, what we run into there, though, Kenny. All right, go ahead and let's get this music off here. All right, so what we run into there is some copyright issues.
Oh, goodness. We're going to get sued by Aerosmith
Yeah,
now?
Aerosmith kind of came at us
good,
a little bit.
I like that. I like that.
Aerosmith did come at us a little bit, so we got to be a little bit careful with those.
Tumbarumba is going to go after us?
Well, they I don't know. I'm not worried about that.
Broke up a long time ago.
I don't think we got to worry about them. But how are you, man? Good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, fair enough. Quiet Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Still getting over this little back thing. I mean, I got a lot of this thing's stiff, but I got to stretch it out, and no spring chicken anymore. Not moving as fast as I once did.
I understand that, man. I feel that every day. So obviously Thanksgiving's a big day at the track. Mm-hmm. You had a few couple good seconds, right?
Yeah, a little second-itis yesterday. We had Corningstone ran a fantastic race yesterday to be second. Just really proud of her. That's been a real really good, solid filly for so long now, and she's sniffing at $1 million. And we're, she's got new ownership since last year. Kind of unfortunate that first group sold her, but fortunately we got her back, and she just continues to produce. And
$17 for a second place finish isn't bad.
Yeah, no, I mean she's just hickory, and she's going to make a great broodmare for Payson. For the Payson group, and Christian Erickson, Joe Belmer did a fantastic job. This kid's really, really coming around as a young rider, and just real pleased with the way he's developed. We started him early on when he was a teenager, who was galloping for me, but the last the 3 rides he's put on her, he's showing like he might deserve a spot in the lineup.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right, watch out. And then I guess Miss Call had a 3rd place. Was that pretty disappointing?
Very disappointing.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
In the sense that she went off heavily favored and got mugged leaving there.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah, she got completely mugged.
Why was there not an inquiry?
Typically the stewards in Kentucky don't do much about the start of the race, but it was the 5 that hit her, and then the 8 actually pushed into the 7, and the 8 finished behind her as well, and you really can't do anything about that. If the 7 had been the horse that initiated the bump, and she came back without a shoe, and I thought that was like almost a sure W for us. But, that's nature horse racing. It happens like that. And we just have to regroup. And unfortunately, that spot that she was in won't come back for her very easily. It's going to be hard to find.
Yeah.
But we'll take our time and figure it out.
Yeah, I'm going to say I lost some money on that one. I wasn't real happy there wasn't an inquiry on that. But the other one that you gave us was Freedom.
Sleeping on Freedom.
Sleeping on Freedom. That one won pretty easy.
Very good horse.
Yeah, came flying.
Very good horse. John and Mallory Wade own that horse. Just to let you know that.
All right.
Don't forget Mallory now.
Okay.
No, that's exciting. The Wades, because John's got really great energy, and he's enthusiastic, and he is. I think he's pump driven, and people like to get lucky.
Yeah.
In the sense that that I don't know why, but I think their energy it transcends some way, shape, or form into successes. And he's got a couple horses. He's got very connected in this weekend, and though the Mallorys or the Wades have 2 chances to be on the Derby Trail, which really excites him.
What horses are that?
Very connected and Sleeping on Freedom.
Yeah, Sleeping on Freedom. You mentioned that in our last podcast that, hey, this could be a horse that we could see, in the Triple Crown Trail. And boy, it sure looked like it.
Yeah, his next start will be at Oaklawn and Smarty Jones.
Nice.
January 3.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big purse too, isn't it?
$250.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nice timing. Sets him up well for spring campaign if he were to win the Smarty Jones, which would set him up for an Arkansas Derby or Louisiana Derby run, something like that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too much.
Well, back to Miss Call real quick. She came flying at the end. I mean, almost like she was running past these horses standing still.
Well, Brian was really conservative after she got left so badly
Got it.
there, and then he really just was trying to feel her out, and then she started to take him there, and if he'd moved an eighth of a mile sooner, she wins anyway.
Yep.
She was 10 lengths the best horse.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just one of those, what could go wrong went wrong. And,
Yeah.
That's, like I said, the nature.
That's horse racing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it.
No sure things.
All right. Well, we've got a couple, actually not a couple. You got a bunch running today and tomorrow. We got one running here pretty soon. Banna. Tell us about that horse.
Well, I think this is a filly that needs to stretch out. She wasn't overly expensive, and we got to run into her short, and she's going to improve going long.
Okay.
She might be playable today. I think she's 10-1 morning line. In my mind, she should be about 4 to 5 to 1.
Right.
And she'll step up and add 10 links, maybe 12 links to her form going longer.
Okay.
And we tend to do better with them stretching out.
So this might not be a bad horse to bet across the board.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, depending on what she goes off at. I hadn't checked scratches yet, but yeah, if she goes off 10 to 1, she's worth a play. Win show ticket.
And then we've got one really well-known horse, but one maybe a little bit less known. Caviar Breakfast is running in the 10th race today, Churchill.
Yeah, she's an outside chance there. She's running so well, I think it's probably worth giving her a shot there. She hasn't run in Stakes Company, so
Okay.
it's a big step up. But she's ultra confident right now, and I think that if she's ever going to get a placing in a stake right now, this is the day.
Got it.
Honestly, I think really the two other than allowance race on the card would probably been the easier spot. But this is the last window of a chance for her to run against Stakes Company as a 3-year-old filly.
Okay.
So this race is an end of year. They're only going to have this race, and I think the Pago Hop at Fairgrounds are going to be the last 3-year-old filly turf stakes for the season, and then they have to go against older horses
Gotcha.
after the 1st of January. So the dynamic changes. But the Regret's a race I've won before, and she's going to have to overcome. There's some heavy favorite in there, I think 7 to 5, the one horse.
Okay.
But she's in with a chance.
Well, then we got a horse that we know also well is Rattle and Roll. How's that horse doing these days?
Well, he's probably as good as he's ever been right now.
How old is Rattle and
He's
Roll?
7.
I was going to say that's an older horse.
Yeah, no, he's 6 turning 7.
Okay.
Is that right? But he's just one to be so proud of. To get a horse to continue their career as long as we have with him, and he's been the war horse, and he goes out there every time and gives you a run. He's a bit of a setup horse. He's got to have his way. And if he doesn't have his way, then the pace doesn't come back with him. But I don't think they're overly worried about him. I think that if Hit Show doesn't run his best race, then Rattle can win. And he loves Churchill.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely loves Churchill. And today's a good day. I mean, it should be a fast track today, right?
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
And does that set up well for your horses typically, or do you have horses that does it differ? Do sometimes you like the slop, sometimes you like the fast? Does it matter?
I think Rattle could. He run in the mud no problem. But it just really depends. It depends on like Churchill is a racetrack that actually in some cases it's better wet than it is dry. I mean, because it's river clay and
Yep.
they bounce over it.
Yep.
They pull it out of the bottom of the river, Ohio River, and it lays on it, and when it rains, it seals flat.
Yeah.
It's actually, I think, safer wet than it is dry. sometimes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So tomorrow there's a bunch, and I don't know if we'll go through all these, but there's a couple I wanted to hit on. All About You. That's one that we've talked about, I think, once or twice.
The last race was a little disappointing, but she's been a check getter.
Okay.
And I like her 2 turns, and I really like Brian on her.
Brian's back now. How's Brian done since he's been back?
Well, he's only won a couple of races. They were both for us, but or at least to my knowledge. And then, he's doing fine. I think he had a little stiff week last week, and he had some time. He took back and took some time. But we'll get through this weekend, and then I think he gets a chance to take a couple of weeks off after that.
You don't see any hesitance, do you?
Well, I was thinking of Miss Call. He was a little too conservative on getting her going, but he wanted to make sure she was okay. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any pattern.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. I'm assuming a few of these are some of the younger horses. Flaming Rainbow.
Yeah, this is a nice horse. We didn't give a ton of money for him, and he's owned by John Holloman down there in Hot Springs, Arkansas. And this horse could jump up tomorrow and show something. I mean, he trains really well. I started to slip him in for a high tag, and we decided not to. And I ultimately think he'll run better on the dirt probably, but he's deserving of a chance in there and actually probably worth playing.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's outworked some pretty nice horses in the morning.
I should probably add this, Kenny, as we have some people watching here live. If you have questions, feel free to ask. Kenny's an open book typically, so if you've got something you want me to ask on air, throw it in there in the comments. Now here's a horse. This horse name we know pretty well is Maximum Offer.
She's also eligible. She's likely not to get in. Yeah, she's not going to get in.
Okay, never mind. All right.
Yeah, Dreaming of June's not going to get any.
Okay. Go To Girl.
Go To Girl is a switch in that sense that we're switching distances.
Okay.
And I really wanted to run her in the one-turn mile. One-turn mile didn't fill, so we opted to run her in the 3 or 2-year-old filly stake sprint.
Okay.
Which is a little different. I really hate changing distances, but the Goldenrod came up with 13 horses, and we also already had Grumpy Rabbit in there. So we didn't want to run them against each other because it's pretty well proven that Grumpy Rabbit's a little bit better than Go To Girl.
Okay.
But I'm looking up the odds here. What are we? We're 10-1, which kind of surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
Thought maybe higher? She'd be a little bit shorter than that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. We got to. It's like it's changed the distance. The horse I really like tomorrow is Liberty National.
Okay.
Liberty National's serious horse.
All right.
I mean, wants to run all day. If this colt wins this race, this is a Triple Crown candidate. He's not going to have any problem with the 1 1/8. I see him going to New Orleans for the winter because he's going to like the long stretch. But he's a big, long, leggy horse, and it takes him a little bit of time to get his wheels going.
Mm-hmm.
But when he comes, he's going to come, strong and fast. And I think he could even be, I would say he'll be early bird Triple Crown nominated and maybe some other things. And then we'll kick on through this list. Instant Impact.
I was going to say that was the last one.
This one was tricky.
Okay.
All right. So Instant Impact had started the opening weekend of the meet. And because he started, he didn't have a 0 date.
Right.
And when you do the date system at racetracks, a trainer has to have his horse's papers on file and listed to get a date by a certain time. So you get a 0 date means you're first in. Once you lose that date, or you have a 1 or a 2 or a 5 or whatever it might be, then the zeros get in before the numbered dates.
Makes sense.
And he didn't have a 0. So my options were, if I enter him in the dirt race, he wasn't guaranteed to run. And if I enter him in the turf race, he had a 0 turf date. And so some of this is a little bit complicated for those that have never heard any of this. I've never talked about this of the date system.
Nope, at all.
Yeah, well, trainers' responsibility is to get our papers on early so we have 0 dates, and that way we get preference.
Okay.
And then once a wave of horses runs, then their date shifts to the date that they raced. And then the horses that didn't get in that still have the 0s get in before they do. So that way there's this cycling of everybody moving. Yeah, and so everybody gets a chance to run. And so you see how moving your dates around is a pretty big deal.
Is that why earlier you mentioned, listen, we're also eligible. We're probably not going to get in. Does that have something to do with that?
No, those horses had 0 dates and still didn't get in.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I could show you on TV or on the screen here you look on the overnights. So for those out there that really want to dig into this, go into Equibase, Horseman, overnights, and then click on Churchill. And then when you look at the overnight, you'll see the horse's name, and then you'll see their run dates.
Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, the preference is according to the 0s, and then the lower the number, the sooner they get in. And then you have to shake for dates if the horses have the same numbers.
I gotcha.
They put pills in, and they shake, and who gets in. And in the case of Instant Impact, he was going to have to shake to get in.
It was a random draw.
Well, I mean, if everybody's got equal playing field, though. And so with a 0 turf date, I said, well, we're going to find out if he's a grass horse, because otherwise he might not run at all.
Okay.
And I'd rather run him and learn something than and I've got a horse here locked and loaded and ready. So those are some trainers is why is he putting him on the grass? Well, because I might not have run at all if I don't.
Yeah, you got to get him into a race.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, quick question here came through one of our listeners. When a horse lays down, does that mean they're tired or do not feel well?
Every horse rests differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do some horse rest? I guess some horse sleeping standing
Sure.
up, right?
Sure. Horses have what they call check ligaments that when they stand up, they can sleep and their knees lock.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of young horses lay down and they'll eat and then lay. And
So you're not concerned if you see a horse laying down quite a bit?
no, not at all. No, I mean, for that matter, a good 2-year-old will eat, sleep, rest, and because they're growing a lot, I think that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right. Makes
smart
sense.
horse lays down.
How does the horse get to run with the duck foot? Whatever that means. I saw this at this year's BC. He was a European horse, I believe.
A duck foot.
Duck foot.
You mean club foot or
a-
box foot?
It says duck foot. Maybe they mean box foot.
Well, a club foot and a club foot and a box foot are the same thing, just different terms. Europeans call them box-footed horses. The Mr. Prospector line creates where the heels are contracted,
Okay.
and they're actually better dirt horses because they get into the dirt better. Whereas turf horses tend to be more flat-footed and thinner-soled, and wider heels,
Okay.
and wider altogether. Turf horses, definitely have a different type of foot than dirt horses.
Interesting.
But duck foot, it's not a term.
And that's something you kind of identify right away?
Oh yeah, when you look at a horse.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Now, when you get horse really low in its heels, low in the heels would probably suggest that they might be turf horses. But I've seen horses that run on. I do think a good horse can run on about any surface, but there are those that have a certain type of foot that are definitely better on one or the other.
So we've talked a lot about Torpedo Anna and Mystic Dan and how they're moving on to the second part of their career now on the breeding side of things. Do you breed for turf horses or do you breed for dirt horses, or does it kind of just we figure it out when the horse comes out?
Well, for me, not having spent a huge amount of time in Europe and certainly never bred a horse in Europe, I think that the way that they probably breed horses is significantly different than American breeders.
Interesting.
I know that I prefer body type to body type, and I think I've discussed that on the show, that I think that physically, I've used analogies. You breed a wine glass to a wine glass, which might be a great turf horse, and a Coke bottle to a Coke bottle. But if you breed a Coke bottle to a wine glass, you don't know what you're going to get.
Right. Right.
So turf horses maybe beget turf horses, and if you breed a like size, like type physical turf running mare to a stallion that did the same, you probably have a better opportunity. Now, turf sprinters in America as stallions are rare.
Okay.
And so you're not going to really get that many options over here. So you'll have to, I guess, somewhat guesstimate what stallion here would work to a turf mare. But it really depends. I mean, I think, the leading sires are all dirt stallions.
Yeah.
And whether it's Gun Runner, Not This Time, Into Mischief, I'm sure
Curlin.
Curlin, yeah. They're specifically dirt stallions.
All right, here's another one that came through. Why do so many ownership groups decide to aim their 3-year-old colts towards stud after a highly successful season instead of continuing to race them at 4 and beyond?
Well, it depends on the horse's pedigree. It depends on the ownership group. I mean, certainly a group like Godolphin, who has sovereignty, they've got a base of mares that are sitting there ready for him. He's proven a lot. He's going to be horse of the year. The downside's probably larger than the upside. Let's say he has a bad season next year and somebody eclipses him, then they maybe knock some shine off of him.
Mm-hmm. Probably some money off of what they're going to get too, stud fees.
Well, but they're not particularly worried about all that.
Okay.
But that particular ownership group is significant in the sense that they can do about whatever they want. Now, in the case of like a horse like Mystic Dan, here he is. He won a lot. And he made almost $5 million in purses, and then when he goes off to stud, but he's by a modest stallion, and so we're in a position where it might have been more prudent to race him another year, which we did.
Right.
and as opposed to retiring him into his 3-year-old year. And Sierra Leone's a horse that I also thought that they probably had a hard decision last year because he was such a good horse, and he won the Breeders' Cup Classic as a 3-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
However, they raced him another year, and he wasn't as successful as a 4-year-old, but yet he still ran really, really good races. And he's a different type of horse. The running style was different, but yeah, it's actually sometimes really hard. Sometimes it's hard to find a home for certain price level stallions, especially the middle and the lower level stallions. You're better off racing them another year.
Makes sense. Tom, did we have something come through there on YouTube just now?
Yeah.
What's that question?
Do you think standing in the stalls so much could be contributing to breakdowns?
No, not particularly. We try to walk our horses every afternoon. It depends on how much staffing we have to be able to do it, but I don't think that's it. In many cases, I mean, the breakdowns that we've dealt with have been sesamoids, and they're just impossible to predict. And when that happens, one of those breaks, it's in the middle of a race. It's devastating, and it's like I said, and one of those things that I really think the industry needs to spend more focus on trying to figure out how to keep those from happening. And if that means that there's pre-race scans for those, then all the better. I'm for it. But those are really impossible. And standing in the stall, I don't believe that's a big contributing factor.
So if that's not, what is?
Well, look, horse racing is always going to have breakdowns. It's had breakdowns for decades.
It's part of the sport. I get that, but do you think there's something that leads to it?
No, I think stabling, whether they've been stable, for centuries, they stabled in box stalls that, whether they were in Europe or even here in the United States, and you just got those small bones in the ankles, and when things go bad on them, there's really no way to predict it.
Yep.
And it is the hardest part about what we do. The worst part that we deal with is when something goes wrong, and I'm not immune to it. I've had some horses that we've lost that I'm really scratching my head about, and we've gone back and did we miss something?
Right.
I mean, if we miss something, the state vets missed something too, because they approved them, but we had never operated on these horses, had never noticed any abnormalities, and sometimes, the wrong step on the wrong racetrack and the wrong horse and the wrong time. And but as far as, standing in the stall, I mean, I think horses get out quite a bit. We try to jog them a lot and keep them moving in the afternoon too.
All right, I have a Kentucky Jockey Club question for you here. The KJC has been a key Derby Trail race for you over the years. What kind of horse do you feel that race typically favors?
A big 3-year-old, or I'm sorry, a 2-year-old that can stalk off the pace and then finish. I mean, it is a great prep to lead you into the spring, and I've always been fond of the race. And we got a small field tomorrow, 7 horses. Universe is, I think, third choice, but very connected, longer price, but. No, it's a great race. I mean, like I said, I've had one year we had a 14 horse field, and we won it with a horse named Signal Man.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was a really solid horse himself.
Now, do you treat that race as kind of a must win for the Derby Trail?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean, no. It's actually just a really good test.
You're just getting education on what your horse can do.
It's a really good test. I mean, the race tomorrow, both of my horses are still A other than allowance horses, and I would love to run them in an A other than allowance race, but the race hadn't been written and it hadn't filled, and so I don't even have an option.
Got it.
I mean, actually, one or both of them should probably be in an A other than allowance race.
Got it.
But if the option's not on the table and the horse is doing well, then you go. But it's that race is a really great test for a 2-year-old at Churchill, and obviously you get the knowledge whether your horse likes Churchill Downs or not.
Yep. Down, we get another one on YouTube.
Yeah. Did you meet Sherry at the track? Do you pick her horses out for her?
How about that? There's a good one.
Sherry and I have known each other since 1995, and I know I didn't meet her at the track. She actually came to a Derby party with her first husband. That was a celebration of Tahana Run, my first Derby
Okay.
runner in
All
second.
right.
But that was
Okay.
well before we ever started dating or got married. But yeah, a lot of those horses, yeah, they all run in Sherry's name, and you know, that's McPeek Racing, and for me, it makes her get the fingerprints. You know, so she's got to get her fingerprints.
There you go. Now, but so Kenny, she does a lot in the industry, though. I mean, she's got her own thing going on in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah, she's big into retirement programs.
Yeah.
She works with Race for Aftercare, and she's very passionate about all that. And you know, she's you know, my best owner, right?
Well, amen. Now, do you ever pick out horses for her? Does she bet?
She likes to bet a lot. For that
Okay.
matter, I got to
All right.
slow her down on all that. But I do all the picking of the horses, and we usually put groups together. And we typically don't own 100% of most of the horses. We run those usually when I have equity in a purchase, or I've kept a little extra shares in horses. Or, you know, typically they're 10 or 20%, but they run Magdalena Racing in Sherry's name, and that's just to honor her.
All right. So, Kenny, when you have multiple promising 2-year-olds, which I know you have a stable full right now, how do you decide who goes onto the Derby Trail, the Triple Crown Trail?
Well, you try to figure out which horse is going to like which racetrack, and then it's a matter of, like, for example, Mystic Dame went through Oaklawn because the ownership group was from Arkansas. And then this winter, I see some horses that are going to probably focus more on Louisiana.
Okay.
But at the same time, we've got Universe, which is Sherilyn Gassaway, and Blackout Time, who's also Lance Gassaway. And those horses will probably be pointed towards Oaklawn because those races are definitely a priority to them.
Okay.
But however, it just depends. If the timing's better to run in Arkansas, Lance had a horse with Brad Cox years back that won the Louisiana Derby, Mystic Bayou. And so that's just the way the timing fell. And so it really depends. And early in my career, I used to go through strictly Gulfstream. I mean, Gulfstream, I won the Holy Bull. I haven't won the Fountain of Youth, which is a race I always was fond of. But I won a Florida Derby with Harlan's Holiday. And there's a chance we'll have some horses down there racing for some of those 3-year-old prize money this winter too. But probably the base of the best horses will be in Louisiana, and we'll let the horses take us wherever they need to go.
Gotcha. Here's an Eclipse Award question here, Kenny. This is interesting. Obviously, you've had some recent success there with Torpedo Anna. If you could redesign the Eclipse Awards voting system, what would you change?
Oh, goodness. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Eclipse Award voting. I think that the Hall of Fame voting is the one that's messed up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're addressing that. But the Eclipse Awards, I think, has mostly been fair, and I think it's an open book on all that. And I think that the problem with the Hall of Fame is that there are people that are on the Hall of Fame voting committees or lists that don't even vote.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so if you're not going to vote, then you should lose your vote. But I don't think there's anything, and I honestly haven't analyzed it, but I think what little I know about it, I think it's fair.
All right, so here's another one. Obviously, you were on to Sovereignty pretty quick last year, and you're pretty bullish that, hey, this was a men among boys. Has a horse caught your eye that maybe is not in your stable? Is there anybody that's caught your eye this year?
Oh, I can't tell that yet.
Okay, all right, we're gonna hold that.
There's been a few that I've seen, but I really like to see the preps over the winter, and typically I participate in quite a few of them, or if I'm not participating, I'm eyeballing them. We'll see. Give me a little more time. But Sovereignty was just such an easy one, and of course we watched him win the Street Sense last year, and so the Street Sense he won as a maiden. That's how confident they were and how good he was.
Yep.
And Bill Mott running a horse as a maiden and a stake is unheard of typically because he's very conservative. But that horse I thought, and he trained like a beast all spring. And,
Yeah.
So anyway, but yeah, keep my eye out. We'll see. Maybe I've got another one.
Hopefully.
I actually got 4 or 5 that I'm
Got a chance, right?
Pretty good about. I mean, right now, really have 4. Blackout Time is a super, super superior horse. So we've got to get his world sorted. Really nothing really wrong with him in my opinion, but we're giving him time.
How many? How much longer?
We'll put him back in training after the first of the year, but
You really got if we're
his
gonna take
X-ray's clean, and
Golly.
you know, but we're dealing with the powers.
Yep.
The universe, his race tomorrow's kind of a key.
Okay.
We're gonna go do some good exams on him after he runs, because he's run hard all summer and fall.
Got it.
And then I think Sleeping on Freedom's a horse that I'm really fond of. I mean, he's
Looked great
he's
the other
under
day.
the radar. He does things easily. He's jumping through hoops. He should have got beaten the other day. Brian was really I was not happy with the ride. He gave him every chance to get beat, and he put him in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Even he came back and he said, "Boy, I really tried to mess that up." And I said, "Well."
So he owned it after the race?
Yeah, he said. I said, "Well, you sure make me nervous, Brian. I mean, you could have just let him run to the front,
Right.
But admittedly, look, good horses overcome adversity,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of adversity. Got stopped, checked, stuck in a box, nowhere to go.
Yep.
Had to come out, had to wiggle through, and then draws off and wins easy.
Yeah.
And that's what good horses do. Could he have gone to the front and run away? He could have. He might not have learned a lot. But I didn't really want a learning experience out there the other day. I
Yeah.
just wanted him to win.
Amen.
But it sets him up for good next start. I think this race at Oaklawn is going to be
Okay.
exciting.
And you said maybe 4 or 5. You'd mentioned 3. Is there anybody else that you want to mention?
Yeah, I think Very Connected's a horse.
Yep.
But he's a little bit of a setup horse. He's going to come from way behind no matter when he runs. But he's one that if he could get enough Derby points to make the Derby, he's a horse that could be one of those that floats behind late. And if they set a wicked pace, this is a horse that comes flying. And when he was third in the Street Sense, he had a little pace in front of him, and he finished up to be a good third, or a respectable third. He's got to find another level, but this horse training really good. He shouldn't be 15-1 tomorrow.
All right, here's one that came through a couple different places. I think this is on YouTube as well. The talk around artificial insemination. If the U.S. adopted the idea, what potential negative impact could be for the U.S. thoroughbreds on the world stage? Do you think having bloodlines worldwide would be helpful?
We do have bloodlines worldwide, and there's not going to be artificial insemination in thoroughbred racing.
Won't
The
happen.
Jockey Club's not going to permit it. It's not going to happen. And remember, you've got not only the American Jockey Club, you've got England, Australia. You've got a lot of jurisdictions that would have to go along with that. But I don't see that happening. No.
There's talk around it.
No, it's not happening. No. There's enough controversy with the oversized books where they're breeding 100, 150 mares
Yeah.
to one stallion,
Yep.
which is diluting or killing the possibility of other stallions, lower end stallions, making it into the game. That's already a problem, but I don't see artificial insemination happening at all. No way.
Tal, anything else on YouTube?
One just came through. How's Grumpy Rabbit progressing and her chances in the goldenrod with the outside post?
I don't like the outside draw at all.
How come?
Yeah, it's just it's hard to overcome out there. I've dealt with this years back with Daddy's Little Darling, drew outside, and a couple of really important races out there. I'm hoping. I think there's already a scratch in there, which is going to pull her inside. I'd love to see 2 or 3 scratch, and like I said, the allowance race that day didn't fill, and because the allowance race didn't fill, some of those fillies would have been in that allowance race.
Why didn't it fill? That seems weird.
Didn't have enough entries to draw.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that race was where we were kind of zigging and zagging with Go To Girl, and it wouldn't have been a terrible idea for the Grumpy Rabbit to also run from running an allowance race, but 2 turns and not 1 turn. And the racing secretary, who I'm very fond of, didn't ride a mile in the 16th allowance race for 2-year-old fillies. So it's a big field, and it's hard to overcome, but that's going to be a trip race, and whoever has the best trip, and she is already compromised from the outside draw. She's doing good, but we're going to discuss that overnight. There's an off chance we might come out and just point towards the year's end at Oaklawn.
I love that name, though. Boy,
Yeah.
I tell you what, if the Grumpy Rabbit could run in some of those higher end races, that's a star.
Yeah, no, she's a lovely filly. Yeah.
It's just an awesome name. People would gravitate towards that name. Okay, here's a kind of a two-parter. How do you decide which horses stay in New Orleans versus which ones ship to Silverleaf? And with so many barns operating at once, what is the biggest day-to-day management challenge?
Well, the best horses will definitely go to New Orleans for the winter, and then figure out. Especially all my stakes horses, stakes quality horses will go to New Orleans.
All the best ones go to New Orleans.
Yeah, all the stars.
Do you make that call, or is that in conjunction with ownership?
No, I make a call.
Okay.
It's a fantastic place to be, to train. I myself love living in New Orleans during the winter, and then it's a matter of where do they belong after that. I mean, just our success with Torpedo Anna and Mystic Dan for the last couple of years, and having them based in New Orleans during the winter is opened my eyes. And for decades, I went to New Orleans, I went to Gulfstream, and I still like Gulfstream. At the same time, they have no 3-year-old filly program. They only have one 3-year-old filly 2-turn stake, and we've already gone 2 turns, so I hate to shorten my fillies back to 7/8 in a mile. And then their 3-year-old program is the Holy Bull, like I mentioned earlier, the Fountain of Youth and the Florida Derby are great races, and I want to get some horses down there to win those. And there's an off chance that some of our 3-year-olds will definitely end up there, but they'll probably come from New Orleans. Now, in years past, I based my main horses at Gulfstream, and then actually would ship to New Orleans. I did that with Repent and Take Charge Lady back in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And that was a successful route. But it just really depends on timing and ownership and things like that. But Silverleaf's not going to have many older horses at all this year. We're going to keep just 2-year-olds there, minimal amount of older horses. If they're there, are actually yearlings turning to, and if there are any older horses there, they'll probably be on layup.
Right.
And we'll focus in on just young horses there at Silverleaf. And sometimes it's tricky. It's been a double-edged sword. I'll admit that when I was a small trainer, I mean, people say, "Oh, big trainers," and look, I'm one of them today, but I wasn't always one of them.
Sure.
People that know my backstory know that I started with 3 average to bad horses, and I raced at Beulah Park and River Downs, and look, in my 20s and 30s, I was fighting to just get better and better horses,
right?
And then I probably jumped that hurdle in the early 2000s, and then now today the task is different.
Yep.
And that my day-to-day is worrying about talking to assistants and where am I going to be, and it's hard splitting yourself up, and physically it's harder at my age because where am I going to be? And matter of fact, Sherry doesn't really like where are you going now, where I have to go.
Yeah.
So that makes it hard, but there are those that would criticize big trainers, and look, what I'd say to a little trainer is keep working hard, figure out how to get better horses, work the yearling sale, which has been my method of getting better horses.
Yep.
And I don't understand why more young horsemen aren't working the yearling sale. You'll have a claiming race at Churchill and a $20,000 or $30,000 claimer, and there'll be 15 claims dropped in the race, or even a 50 claimer, and they'll have multitude. Why not take that horse or take that money and go to the yearling sale and buy a horse that you don't know what the upside is?
Sure.
Torpedo Anna, $40,000.
Yeah.
I mean, she made me famous.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't more owners take a little more time and reward people that are breeding horses?
Right.
I mean, these people are breeding and raising horses to sell, and you get to check them out and vet them out and analyze them. That's really, really a lot of fun. And I started buying one horse for a guy, and then he let me buy 3, and then he let me buy 5, and then now it's turned into a really great list of great clients to do it. But more trainers, don't go complaining about big trainers. Get your butt out there and get yourself better horses, and you'll become one if you're good. Water seeked its level. I mean, I worked hard. I got good at it, and I've managed to climb to this position. Wasn't shoved into it, and I think every other trainer out there that's called a big trainer, they've done something similar. They've proven themselves.
Yeah. And you got people like Judy Hicks, who are just the lifeblood of the industry.
Judy's wonderful. I mean, she called me for Thanksgiving yesterday, and we chit-chatted, and she's a small breeder. I mean, small breeders can compete against the big Godolphins and everything every now and then, and actually beat them.
Mm-hmm.
No sense complaining about Godolphins so much as just figure out a way to get to them or beat them.
Yeah.
And they respect that when you beat them. At the same time, they're supposed to beat you because they've got more money behind them.
All right, last couple here. We got to get you out. You got to get to the track. How are our stars doing? How's Torpedo Anna? How's Mystic Dan doing?
Well, I haven't checked on them since they left.
And their new homes?
Yeah, well, Torpedo Ann's a pretty good haul all the way out to Paris, Kentucky, on the other side of Paris where Alapa.
That's where Hillendale is?
Yeah, but John's been kind enough to send me a video or two, and I'm not particularly worried. There's nothing that I can do beyond that. I've done my job, and I'm sure she's in good hands. But we'll probably pick a time next spring to go see her, and he'll give us a report on how she's gone. And I'm not sure who he's going to breed her to yet. I haven't heard that word yet, but we'll figure that out too. And Mystic Dan, all accounts are is that he's happy as a clam out there, and that they're going to put a little weight on him, and he'll be ready to roll for breeding season.
There's a good golf course in Paris, Kentucky named Houston Oaks. My uncle actually designed and built.
Yeah, and even Houston Oaks is probably another half an hour.
Is it really?
Lapa. Yeah, Lapa's way out there. It's in the extended other side of Paris, Kentucky.
Okay.
Beautiful farm. Actually, probably one of the most beautiful laid out historic farms in all of central Kentucky, but it is situated a ways away. Calumet's right there in town, and everybody drives by it and sees the white fences. Lapa is probably more beautiful by many lengths.
What about like Ashford Stud and Coolmore? Because you see that as you're going through Versailles.
Yeah.
Stone Street, man, there's some beautiful farms in there.
Ashford's got a stallion barn there that's probably one of the most beautiful stone-built barns I've ever laid eyes on. I always admired the stonework on that building, their stallion barn. But yeah, there's some beautiful spots out there.
And you're getting ready to take off. You're leaving town here.
Yeah, South America. I'm going to go Tuesday night. I got an overnight flight. There's a group of us going down, and we're going to, like I said, the last podcast, visit some really good friends and take some time, maybe go look at some horses in the mountains and see what the stock looks like down there in Brazil right now. And then we're going to fly over to Buenos Aires for the Pellegrini, which is a huge race day, and a race day that I think if you're a worldwide racing fan, everybody ought to try to attend that.
Now, is this trip more business or pleasure?
It's about 2/3 business and about 1/3 pleasure.
Okay, so there's a lot of business going on there.
Oh yeah. No, we'll kick around and do a little business in Rio, and I'd like to go to Sao Paulo and look at some horses, but I don't know if we might have time to do that on the way through.
Okay,
but we're going to go to Búzios, which is a resort town. I think there's 5 guys going.
Love it.
And most of them are good golfers.
Okay.
I'm probably going to be a good cart rider.
Yeah, chip and putt a little bit.
My back surgery.
Okay.
But I maybe I'll drive the cart and collect the beer.
There you go. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but beautiful town. Like I said, Búzios is, somebody ought to Google it. Really unique place.
All right.
And but like I said, more than anything, I'm really excited to reconnect with a lot of my old Brazilian friends, and we're gonna go to the races Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then I'm trying to organize a dinner, but there's probably about 15 of them that I can't wait to see, and I hope I see them. I hope they're all doing well. Some of them I haven't heard back from yet because I've reached out, but looking forward to giving them a hug. But before COVID, I had pretty consistently gone, and then after COVID, I haven't been at all, and for numerous reasons,
sure.
Either too busy or just timing didn't fall right. And Sherry and I have traveled as far north as Trancoso,
okay,
and which is Bahia, which is way up north of Brazil, and we've gone as far south as Florianópolis and Bagé and Santa Catarina.
Yeah,
I've been to Paraty and Angra dos Rios, and up in the mountains, Petrópolis and Teresópolis.
All those places sound beautiful.
No, we've been all over it, up and down the coast over the decades, but like I said, I haven't been in about 6 years.
Okay,
yeah, well before COVID hit. Had to get a visa this time because that's it's trickier. They used to not require one, and now they do. Then they required one, now they don't. They didn't, and now they do again. think it's got to do with administrations and
Yeah.
things like that. But we got that all taken care of. But yeah, I'm excited to go back and hopefully trip smooth.
Well, thanks for doing this on Black Friday, doing our live edition. I'm sure our listeners enjoyed being able to jump in and get some questions answered right there in real time. And we just had one come in, Kenny. They want curling for Torpedo Anna.
Yeah, me too.
We'll see what happens. All right, Kenny. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend and good luck in Brazil. Hopefully, that's a wonderful trip you'll remember forever.
Próxima vez aqui eu passo a falar com tudo pessoas in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Meu prazer. Next time we're on here, I can talk to all the people in Portuguese.
All right.
Meu prazer is.
I'm not sure how I can help there. But.
My pleasure. but I'll probably send some videos from down there and give you an idea of the racetrack and the stables, introduce you to some of the people that I know, and just some of the general highlights.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think people would enjoy that. And then in Argentina, completely different vibe.
Yeah.
At the same time, a great vibe.
Right.
Buenos Aires is much more of I liken it to a New York City of South America, where Rio is more of a Miami of South America. So they're different vibes, but I think people will get an eye opening to all of it, and hopefully, the Pellegrini is an amazing race, and I've done video of that before, but never put it out there on this scale that this podcast is probably going to offer.
Excited to do it.
All right.
All right. Thank you for listening. If you're watching right now, hit that subscribe button. Give us a nice comment. Give us a nice rating. And we'll see you next time on the Horse Races Now podcast.
Horse Races Now, the app to follow horse racing at over 1,200 tracks worldwide. View entries and results. Get notifications on your favorite horses, jockeys, trainers, racetracks, and owners. Users set up and revise notifications like live video at the gate, call to post, entries, results replays, etc.